If you've tried everything to lose belly fat, restrictive diets, intense workouts, cutting carbs, counting your calories, and you're still bloated and still carrying that fat around your midsection, this is not your fault. What I'm about to share comes from years of studying digestive health, gut science, and analyzing hundreds of testimonials from women who've lost 50, 60, even 100 pounds by fixing this one thing most people don't even know is broken, and that is their digestion. So over the next few minutes, I'm breaking down exactly why your belly fat will not release and the exact steps to finally flatten it for good. This is what actually works. Let's dive in. Yes, I know this sounds crazy, but your stomach acid is weak, and that is the reason you're carrying around this belly fat and it won't budge. Okay, now let me explain. So, your stomach acid is responsible for breaking down all of your foods so that it can be eliminated through your bowels, okay? Now, years of eating these foods right here, they require massive amounts of stomach acid in order for your body to break them down. Okay, these foods right here. And over time, this overworks your stomach. Your body's having to overproduce all of this stomach acid, this excess amount of stomach acid, to break all of these foods down. And so now your acid production weakens. Okay, so now when you do try to eat healthy foods, your stomach acid is too weak to fully break them down. So they just turn into undigested waste and store as new fat cells, right? And they get clogged in your colon. And this is why you're not eliminating, if you're eating 2-3 meals a day, this is why you're not eliminating 2 to 3 times a day, right? It's because you have this undigested, clogged waste that your stomach acid isn't strong enough to break down. Cheese, milk, yogurt, all of these meats, the bread, the pasta, very dehydrating, heavy, hard to digest foods like pasta, crackers, chips, oils, processed foods, fried foods, okay? All of these right here require a lot of stomach acid, a lot of your stomach acid to fully break them down, okay? And after doing this year after year after year, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, your body's been trying to break this stuff down for years. And it has been until it's just like, all right, this is so much stomach acid I've been having to produce. It eventually weakens. Okay, so we're abusing our digestive system, our stomach acid, by constantly putting these foods in. Okay, and if you think about it, all of these are processed, they're unnatural. We're natural beings, right? We're not going to find cheese in nature. Okay, that's a process. Same with yogurt, right? Same with bread, pasta, crackers, chips. There's nothing growing out of a plant that has any of these. Fried foods, oils, processed junks. The only ones that are like natural, I'd say, are the milk and the meat products. But the meat products our ancestors were eating, and the people that go hunt them, they're eating, regular feed, plants and grass. They're getting the sun. But a lot of the animal products we're eating, at least out here in America, you go to the store and get it, and it's been injected. It's been on a factory line and injected with all of this stuff. And they're feeding these animals the wrong, unnatural foods that they would not be eating if they were out in nature, in wild, okay? So all of these are just really hard for your body to digest, okay? And they cause clogged waste, right? If you took a camera within your colon pipe right now, you'd see all of this undigested waste, okay? And that is what's showing up as belly fat, all right? So, like I said, that food just sits in your gut, partially digested, and it creates this gas and this bloating and this inflammation, and it gets stored as belly fat. Your body's not broken, it's just clogged, okay? So the solution, simple enough, right, is just to eat foods that are easy to digest and foods with natural water content in them, okay? Obviously, you probably drink water, so obviously water is not effective enough to be cleansing years and decades of this undigested waste from our system. Okay, so we need, and if you think about it too, our ancestors were not carrying around gallons of water and carrying around these filters, these homemade filters, and filtering pond water and river water and ocean water and lakes. No, everything that you can eat in nature besides animals hydrate you at a cellular level. Okay, so this is what you need to cleanse all of that clogged waste is water-rich foods, okay? Water-rich foods are your fruits and your vegetables and your leafy greens, okay? And all of these foods contain living, activated, natural digestive enzymes, okay? Not the enzymes in the pill forms at the grocery store, at the drugstore that are inactive and dead and have been heat treated and oxidized and highly processed. I'm talking about the living activated digestive enzymes within your food. Like I said, you're a natural being. Your digestive system was designed to be receiving foods with digestive enzymes in them. And digestive enzymes are essentially just partners in crime with your stomach acid. Your stomach acid is meant to break down your food, and so are the digestive enzymes. If you put an apple in, or if you put a red bell pepper in, or a green bell pepper within your body, you eat that, it's going to break itself down because it contains these living, activated, natural digestive enzymes. So your stomach acid doesn't have to do all this work. It can chill. And when your stomach acid can chill, it can reset and get that break it needs and strengthen again, so that when you do put whatever food in, it can actually have that strength to break it down again fully and eliminate it through your bowels, so it's not just clogging your digestive tract, okay? So yeah, none of these have water and none of these have digestive enzymes in them. They're all dead, okay? So your weakened stomach acid cannot fully digest them, all right? And so we need to eat foods that are basically a reflection of who we are. We are like 60 to 70% water-based beings, and we're living beings, okay? These are living foods right here. These greens, these vegetables, are mostly the greens and the fruits. Okay, those are living electric. We're electric beings. Our bodies never shut down, even when we go to sleep. Our bodies are repairing and internally cleansing and detoxifying. Okay, so we need to eat a reflection of who we are, right? Oranges, grapes, pears, peaches, plums, cherries, melons, berries. Take advantage of importation, okay? We are natural tropical beings, okay? The first human imprints were discovered in tropical Africa, where there's thousands of different species of fruits, okay? So, and we just, as population grew, we kind of explored, and now some of us are in the cold winters, right? Take advantage of the importation of all your food is coming from the tropics. You would not be able to survive and grow anything if it weren't for the tropics and maybe some greenhouses during the winter, okay? And yes, I said it, we are tropical beings. We get happy when we're in the sun and it's light outside. We get depressed when we're just stuck inside and it's super cold. And, we couldn't even really survive in that if it wasn't for heaters and these $100 jackets and coats and stuff like that. But that's besides the point, okay? Just point being, come back home to your origin. Start eating more fruits. This is why you crave sweets all of the time, is because you're not eating enough fruit. Your body is designed for these water-rich foods. Okay, your food should be hydrating you. You shouldn't be looking at water to hydrate when you're dehydrated. Okay, you should be looking at these water-rich, because these have H3O2 in them. They're way more effective at hydrating you on a cellular level. Okay, water doesn't hydrate you on a cellular level, just on a surface level. And a lot of the times, if you really notice it, water just bloats you, no matter what kind of water it is. Okay? So we need to be hydrating with our foods. Going back to the point, our ancestors didn't even have water, okay? And this is why you feel the need to drink water after, any type of restaurant food or cooked food or any type of dried snack, anything that is not water rich and you're eating it, you're going to feel dehydrated afterwards. You're going to feel dehydrated during that meal. That's why you're drinking during the meal and right after the meal. And that's something you need to stop doing too. You don't want to be drinking with your food, okay? Because that is diluting your stomach acid. Your stomach acid's focusing on breaking down this food, and then you're hitting it with the water, and then it's just diluting your stomach acid. So now you have this whole fermentation ball of bloating within your stomach, okay? So, and I'll get to what to do here in a second. Instead of hydrating with water when you're eating foods that aren't water rich, okay? You might already know the answer though. These: celery, cucumber, bell peppers, tomatoes, leafy greens, fresh vegetables. These are also known as non-sweet fruits, okay? Cucumbers got seeds. Anything with seeds in it is a fruit. So bell peppers, tomatoes, cucumber, those are all fruits. So you want to be, anytime you're having cooked food, you want to be pairing them with these. Instead of hydrating with water, you want to be pairing them with these, because cooked food, any food that isn't water rich, it doesn't have these enzymes in them, okay? And so when you pair some cucumber slices with that veggie burger or that soup or some quinoa or some lentils, whatever it is, when you pair some cucumber slices or some celery sticks or some bell pepper slices or even just some lettuce or some tomato slices, you're providing your body with again, those natural living activated digestive enzymes that the cooked food doesn't have, and that cellular hydration that the cooked food doesn't have. So you're taking that weight off of your stomach acid, and you're allowing all of this cooked food to be broken down by the enzymes and that cellular hydration within the non-sweet fruits, those fresh foods, right? Because your digestive system requires water to break stuff down. So this is why you feel dehydrated after cooked foods, is because it's pulling the water out of your gut, out of your system, out of your cells. So you feel the need to rehydrate with water. Okay, that's what we're all taught in society. It's not your fault. But going on from here on out, start pairing your foods, anytime you're having cooked foods, with these fresh, living, water-rich, enzyme-rich foods, okay? And just drink before. Drink 10 minutes before if you really want some water. Wait and have these with your meal, and wait at least 45 minutes to an hour to have some liquids after solids, because again, it's diluting your stomach acid. Give your body some time to break down that food with these fresh foods instead of just sipping on and gulping on water and beverages. All right. Cooked vegetables and roots. These are what you really want to focus on when you're not having fresh vegetables and fresh fruits. Steamed vegetables, okay? Not roasted, not fried, okay? Because those require what? Oils. Oils are very, very fatty. They're very concentrated amounts of fat, okay? They're super highly processed. You wouldn't find anything that fatty in nature. Like, they come from healthy sources, olives and avocados and coconuts, but you taking a spoonful of olive oil is like you out in nature stumbling upon an olive tree in Italy and just grabbing like 30 olives and stuffing them in your mouth and swallowing them. That's how concentrated oil is, okay? And we don't realize that. Coconut, same thing. Avocado oil, it's like one spoonful. I don't know the math for that. It's probably like 7 different avocados, or like 4 different avocados at least, or something like that. So these oils are just a lot of fat, a lot of excess fat. No human is oil deficient. We don't need oils. And every time you go into a restaurant, anytime you go get some processed snacks or dressings or dips or sauces, all of these things contain oil. So really start reading the ingredients and labels of your food that you're eating. If you're seeing anything that has oil in it, like, that's just excess fat, okay? And fat has more grams of fat, is basically just heavier than carbs, okay? So we really just want to limit our fats to be like 10 to 15% at most of our daily calories, and the rest from these simple carbs, okay? These are all simple carbs: the fruits, the vegetables, and these steamed vegetables, okay? Sweet potato, squash, sweet potato is a complex carb, but it's not as complex for your body to break down like grains and legumes and things like that. So notice in the name, though, simple carbs. It's simple for your body to break down. Fruits, vegetables, or non-sweet fruits, right? Cucumber, celery, bell peppers, tomato, lettuce. and greens. Those are all simple carbs. They're simple for your body. They work with your body. They're very cleansing. They're very purifying. They're very detoxifying. And they're going to cleanse that internal waste within you. Okay, these are electrical, powerful foods. Okay, so stick to these as your base. And then if you want some cooked food, this is what I recommend. Just make some quinoa or make some chickpeas or some lentils and mix it with your salad. Mix it, again, when you're having cooked food, even if it's healthy like this, have some cucumber slices in there or on the side. Have some celery sticks, whatever water-rich food that you like, okay? And you might be thinking all of these are gross, but guess what? Once you just get in the habit of having some fresh fruit or having some fresh cucumbers within your cooked meal, your taste buds rewire every 7 to 14 days, and your taste buds just naturally crave what you feed it. Okay, same with your gut bacteria, your microbiome, that resets. So your gut microbiome, basically, you crave whatever you feed your gut microbiome, okay? And your gut microbiome is created out of whatever you feed it. So if you're eating bread every other day or every day, when you get hungry, you're going to crave that. But when you start eating, you start adding different things in, adding new foods in, your gut bacteria starts, it becomes more of that new food, right? So it's creative out of what you feed it. So then you start craving it. Your gut microbiome and your taste buds are naturally connected. Everything is interconnected within the body. All right. So quinoa, lentils, chickpeas, things like this. These are some okay cooked foods. You really want to focus on the more fresh foods. Those are the healing, detoxifying, purifying, cleansing foods. And then, okay, if you want to have some cooked foods, go for the quinoa, go for the lentils, go for the chickpeas. Okay. Let's see. So like I said, quinoa bowl, have some of these on the side. If you're having some steamed sweet potato, that's another thing too. If you're going to have cooked food, steamed sweet potato, man, stock up on those steamed sweet potatoes. These are great snacks and they're going to keep you full and energized for hours. I love steamed sweet potato and steamed squash, although squash is a lot more expensive. But sweet potato is like that should be one of your biggest staples, okay? And we'll get to your staples in a second. So like I said, these give your stomach the water and enzymes it needs to break down the cooked food properly, okay? So here's just like an example of what a fat burning day could, actually looks like. This should be your end goal. Within a couple of weeks from now, you should just be eating like this, okay? A big juicy fruit breakfast, right? It could be oranges. It could be a whole bag of grapes, okay? Don't fear the fruit, all right? It's not too much sugar, okay? The reason sugar has this bad rep in the first place is because it's extracted, right? White sugar, the sugar in candy and baked goods, all of that is extracted from sugar cane and fruits, okay? And anytime you process anything, you're creating some type of imbalance within your body. Your body is meant for these natural things. Like sugar cane itself has that sugar cane within it, but when you extract all that sugar and now it's just this concentrated amount of sugar, your body's not meant for that, okay? And same with juicing fruits. This is why I don't really recommend juicing fruits, especially if you have like high blood sugar and things like that, because when you're juicing the fruits, you're taking away the fiber. Oh, my laptop's gonna die. Give me 1 sec. You're taking away the fiber from the fruit, okay? And you need that fiber. That fiber slows down the sugar passing through your bloodstream, okay? So same with sugar, same with these powdered sugars, adding sugars to your drink and sodas and things like that. It doesn't have that fiber within the whole fruit that allows that sugar to pass smoothly through your bloodstream. And so it's just this dry fruit, right? It's extracted, it's concentrated, powdered sugar. And so it doesn't have that smoothness, that fiber to help push it through your bloodstream and your blood cells properly, naturally. So then it gets stuck in your bloodstream and it raises your blood sugar, okay? That's besides the point. Breakfast, big juicy fruit meal. Eat this until you're satisfied and feel nourished, okay? And this might feel uncomfortable at first if you're used to, lots of bread and protein and animal products for your breakfast, because those are just like stuffing you, all right? And you got to think about it this way. Like, if you're thinking, oh, I need my protein in the morning, protein is building foods. Why are you trying to build right now? You need cleansing foods. You don't need these protein foods. How long have you been eating protein foods? How long have you been dealing with this fat? Okay. So cleansing foods, lots of big, juicy fruit meals for breakfast. And even before your lunch, when you're getting hungry again, have some more fruit. Like, really shop for your fruits as like, how many meals is this? Like, one bag of grapes, that's maybe like two meals. It's like one good breakfast, honestly, like a whole bag of grapes. I eat that all the time. Or sometimes I have a big smoothie with like 5, 6, 7 brown spotted bananas. You want your bananas to be spotted like a cheetah. That's when they've converted from starch complex to simple sugar for your body to break down. So a lot of bananas and just like some frozen blueberries and a little bit of water to make it blend. Smoothie. It could be like 7 oranges, 10 oranges. I was doing that a lot during the winter. Melons, of course, in the summer. Cherries. Okay, just get comfortable with eating these juicy fruits and eat them until you're satisfied. Okay, and the lunch could be a big salad, right? And if you feel like you don't like salads, I'm just going to leave a link below to grab my light body activation guide. It shows you how to make a good salad, how to make a really good dressing and sauce or a dip for those fresh veggies and just salads and any meals. Because like I said, if you're going to get dressings and dips and sauces at the store, it doesn't matter if it's a salad dressing. Like, if you look at the ingredients, they have gums and acids in them and inflammatory oils and syrups and refined sugars and table salt, things that your natural body wasn't designed to recognize, let alone break down. These gums and these syrups and these processed oils, okay? Your body's not going to break them down. It's going to turn into waste. So this goes, you think you're eating healthy, but it's like, man, if it's processed in any way, you want to be processing your foods, okay? You want to go get the raw cashews. You want to go get the raw hemp seeds, put them in the blender with the lemon juice, with the fresh dill, with the seasonings, and blend it yourself. You want to take these whole foods and blend them yourself and process them yourself, okay? And then, so also, you want your lunch to be like your biggest meal, okay? We're, like, again, we're natural beings, so we have this internal clock called our circadian rhythm, okay? So basically, when the sun is at its peak in the middle of the day, our digestive fire is at its peak. Our digestive fire is at its strongest and it's most optimal. It's most ready to have like that big meal, that most caloric dense meal, okay? So instead of eating right before bed, because in the morning and at night is when your body's barely waking up, it just wants some fresh hydration to kind of move out yesterday's waste. It's going to help you eliminate in the morning. And at night, your body's preparing to go to bed. It doesn't want to focus on this big, dense, hard to digest meal all night. And that's what it has to work on all night, breaking down. But instead, if you have it, 4 or 5 hours before you go to sleep, that big meal, and then you just have something light, like some fresh fruit or a smoothie bowl, or just like some leftover salad from lunch, then your body can process that and break it down. And you want to eat this 2 to 3 hours before bed. So that way it can break down. And that way during the night, like I said, your body's always internally cleansing and detoxifying and moving things around while you're sleeping. So at night, it can focus on all this other internal undigested waste to be breaking down when you give it that 2 to 3 hours before bed. And so when you do wake up, you have those bowel movements, okay? And if you're craving anything within those 3 hours before bed, have some hot caffeine-free tea, okay? It's very stimulating, like the taste, you know, hibiscus and ginger teas and lemongrass and things like that. All right, so just get in the habit. This should be your end goal right here. If you take away anything, you know, from this video, big juicy fruit first half of the day, and then the middle of the day, that's when you have your big steamed roots and your veggies, maybe some quinoa, maybe you know, a big salad with steamed sweet potato and vegetables, and you have your own sauce. Maybe you have some avocado. Avocados are dense, okay? And speaking of avocados, that's a fat. You really want to limit your fat intake to just be avocado, coconut, anything, coconut milk, coconut cream, coconut meat, and raw nuts and seeds. But raw nuts and seeds, you want to sparingly use those, okay? Because those are hard for your body to break down. And ideally, when you're using raw, and make sure they're raw, do not get roasted, do not get salted raw or nuts and seeds, because they've been cooked in oils, and nuts and seeds are already fatty. You don't need more oils on top of that. So if you do have nuts, make sure you're soaking them for at least 30 minutes to a couple hours, like some raw cashews, raw pistachios. This is going to activate the enzymes in them, because nuts naturally have enzyme inhibitors that make it hard for your body to break down. We're really not supposed to eat nuts, right? They're just like the seed of a fruit and supposed to just be thrown out and planted. But they're good for staples. They're good for, you know, transitioning off of denser foods that you might be used to, that your body might be used to. All right, so take a screenshot of this and make this your goal, okay? So this is important too. You're eating, if you're coming off of processed foods and animal products, you've got to eat more volume than you were before, because these are, so say I have like a big salad, big bowl of salad, that might be the same amount of calories as just like a little 4-ounce piece of dead cow flesh, some steak. I find it funny how they call it steak and beef. Let's just call it what it is. You get me? So get comfortable eating more, bigger portions, bigger volume when you're eating this way that I've just presented to you, because these processed foods and these animal products, the processed foods just have all these like fatty oils and gums and syrups and sugars that make little bits of it, you know, more full and filling, versus these whole foods, like you got to eat more of, which I love, you know, like we're designed to just be eating all day. Like I just graze all day. I have my papayas and my grapes and my watermelon. Then I'll have like 4 or 5 bananas, maybe make a smoothie, have some dates, have some sweet potato, have my salad, have some quinoa. Like I can just eat all day, and that's what we all love, right? So yeah, don't be afraid to eat large portions, okay? Your body needs the fuel when you're coming off of these denser foods. And like I said, these homemade sauces, all of these are in them that are just very hard for your body to break down, creating that undigested waste that gets stored as belly fat. And again, link in the description to grab all of my sauces and dips and dressings and how to make good salads. So yeah, the simple formula, the more you eat of these and fresh fruits, all of these fresh, water-rich, living, electric, enzyme-rich foods, and the less processed foods you eat, all these cheese, milk, bread, crackers, stuff you've been eating your whole life that's gotten you to where you're at right now, the faster your belly fat will flatten, okay? And it's that simple. You don't need to count your calories. None of that. I don't count none of my calories, and I've stayed lean, you know, this whole time I've been eating this way, all right? You just need to swap the dead, dry, dehydrating processed foods that weaken your stomach acid for living, water-rich foods that support it, okay? And stock up. You're way less likely to validate yourself going to get some takeout or eating what he's eating and her. When you just stock up, when you spend that time and that energy and that money to go invest for your future self, okay? I buy a big box of bananas. You get them cheaper. And if they are ripening too fast, you can just throw them in the freezer for smoothies. And you can literally have smoothies or bananas in your freezer for like a year at least. Sweet potatoes, bananas, dates, Okay, these right here, bananas, dates, avocados, those should be your staple because those are like the densest. And if you're coming off those processed foods and animal products, you're gonna want to, like, dates are like 100 calories each. Okay, bananas are 100 calories each. Avocados are like 200 calories each, depending on the size. Okay, so these are gonna keep you feeling full and satiated and nourished. And then the sweet potatoes as well, great. I don't know if you guys heard that they're doing fireworks outside, but anyway, sweet potatoes, quinoa, mixed greens, salad, veggies. All right, these are what you want to keep on deck. And if you don't like mixed greens, you can make cucumber slices of salads or cucumber noodles. You can get a spiralizer on Amazon and make cucumber noodle salads. Those were my favorite when I first started. Lots of fruit. You got to stock up on the fruit. You need juicy fruit, at least for your breakfast. If you're not going to have fruit any other time, have a big juicy fruit meal for breakfast. And then the herbal teas are optional, but they're nice to have for some stimulation at night. Just make sure they're caffeine free. Okay, now just getting more into the mental side, this is a deep dive training here. You can't delete a bad habit. You can only replace it. All right, so just your action step for this is just to grab a journal and write down every bad habit that you know is keeping you stuck. Okay, eating while you're scrolling, ordering takeout when you're stressed, late night snacking. Okay, and next to each bad habit, just brainstorm a replacement of what you could do. What's a better replacement? Okay, we can't delete a bad habit. You have to replace it. So late night snacking, maybe you have to just eat more during the day and then just have some herbal tea ready and go on a night walk, right? Because a lot of the times we just want to eat because we want to get some stimulation. And the only stimulation sources that we've been giving ourselves and that our body is used to and thinks of when we want to be stimulated is just scrolling on social media or TV or eating. That's it. So give your body more options to think of by doing those things when it does want to be stimulated. Going on walks, drinking tea, stretching, okay? And if you're not eating till like 12 or 1, and then just having whatever, maybe have some juicy fruit around 9 or 10, okay? And then ordering takeout when stressed, maybe the replacement for that is just to have a quick salad with some homemade dressing. That's another thing to keep stock, is just make a big batch of some really good dressing and keep it in a big mason jar in the fridge, and it'll last for like 3 to 4 days, and you have that sauce for every day, okay? And then eating while scrolling, maybe you're just listening to an audiobook on your phone, something like productive and inspirational and positive. Or just eating outside, right? Eating that nature out in nature, really connecting and being mindful of like your bites and not just like eating while you're not even focused on it, okay? And accountability is everything, all right? Most people, us in society, we've been trained, we've been raised to kind of have other people to hold ourselves accountable, our managers, our bosses, our teachers, our parents. So this practice right here, just texting someone right now and telling someone, or even just if you don't want to tell anyone, just write it down somewhere, like I'm committing, really make, like, how do I say this, like just commit for yourself, okay? Just write it down, like put it as your background on your lock screen where you'll see it every day. Like really just commit, okay? Like whatever that looks like to you, that's drawing that line in the sand, to just commit of like, yo, like I can come back to some of these foods if I want. Everything is temporary. Let me just commit, man. Like I know, and write down the benefits too. Write down the benefits of you like really following through and getting this flat stomach. All right. And that's a big thing right there. So text someone or just put it on your fridge, somewhere you'll see every day that kind of holds you accountable. All right. And walking, okay, I've got to say it. Start with 5,000 steps per day and build your way up to 10,000 steps per day. If it's cold where you're at, get a walking pad, okay? And just start getting creative of how you can add steps into your life. Walk to the grocery store. Or if you can't walk to it, if it's like more than 25 minutes, park couple of parking spots away and then walk to the grocery store. And then if, Aunt Linda's calling you and it's going to be a 20, 30, 40-minute conversation, go outside and walk and talk, okay? And listen to audiobooks or podcasts on your walks, right? Walk trails and parks. And walking helps circulate the lymph within your body, and that helps the body clear broken down fat cells and waste products. If you're not going to do any exercise, which you don't have to, because honestly, it's just going to make you want to eat more. So just walk. Just get really good at getting yourself up to 10,000 steps at least 5-6 days a week, all right? This is going to regulate your blood sugar. It's going to move your stomach muscles, right? When you're walking, you're pretty much moving your whole body. You're moving those stomach muscles, and your stomach muscles is breaking down undigested waste. And it reduces stress, which lowers cortisol, which lowers your belly fat, okay? Now, this is another way to hold yourself accountable, okay? Writing a checklist. Grab a journal if you don't already have one. If you can't get one for whatever reason, just grab a piece of paper, a couple pieces of paper, and just every night before you go to bed, give yourself a checklist, okay? You can't be just waking up and winging it. You can't. Fail to plan equals plan to fail, all right? So you got to plan yourself. You got to set yourself up for success. So just put, even if it's two things on a journal. Checklist, just have my fruit meal in the morning. And then go walk 5,000 steps with an audiobook. 5,000 steps is going to take you 25, 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. 25, 30 minutes. Just aim for that, okay? And then maybe also a big thing in your checklist is to plan tomorrow's biggest meal and what you need to go to the store and get to make that meal, all right? And there's meals in that and ingredients in that guide that I put in the link in the description. And so just set yourself up for success. And when you check these off tomorrow, you wake up, first of all, knowing exactly what you need to do. You've set an intention for your day, so you're not just winging it and influenced by any smell or what you see or, oh, she said I can go do this or whatever. You just have your priorities set. And when you're checking these tomorrow, you feel good about yourself. You feel rewarded, it's very rewarding. And this right here is proof that you're making progress, okay? By checking off these checklists, okay? And the next thing under the checklist, these are what I do every single night, by the way. And I give to all my clients. I've been doing this for the past year. My mentors told me to do this, and it has completely changed my life instead of just waking up and winging it. Next thing, under your checklist, these are the 2 things you need to journal every night. Checklist, and then one proud moment from today, okay? That could be I made a salad for lunch, I went for a 20-minute walk, and I finished eating 3 hours before bed, okay? And this forces you to focus on the wins. And a lot of us are just, in society are hyper-focused on, oh, I didn't do that today. Oh, I didn't get that done today. Oh, I messed up on that today. But writing down, journaling every night and making yourself kind of think about the day, reflect on the day to find a win, something that you're proud of. This rewires your brain to focus on the progress you're making and proves to your ego, your mind, your body that you're making progress, okay? And it's not about perfection. So one checklist, a checklist, and then one proud moment. Those are the 2 things you need to journal every single day, okay? And meditating, okay? I know I felt so much resistance around this word. I actually haven't meditated in a really long time until, was it today? It was this morning. Today's been a long day. I didn't know if it was yesterday or today. I actually just started up my meditation journey again today. And what this really means is just sitting still and quieting your mind, okay? And just breathing. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, okay? And every time a thought comes up, you don't identify with it. You don't become it. You don't have to react to it. Just see it. Just say, okay, I'm thinking about waffles. Back to my breath. Oh, I'm thinking about what my friend said. My friend texted me 2 hours ago. Back to my breath. And then you focus on your breath, breathing through your nose, okay? And this creates space between your thoughts, so you're not always hearing this mental chatter. Even afterwards, you're reaping these benefits. Your mental chatter starts to slow down and you're more in control because your thoughts are not you. Okay, all of us are living in these thoughts, and all of our thoughts are just created from what our teacher says and what our doctor told us and what our parents raised us with, these opinions and judgments and things that we've been told, and our friends, and how we perceive ourselves and all this. But really, just you're just this body, okay, and you are your breath, okay, and there's no separation between you and this nature, this natural world. We're just nature. We're an expression of nature. And so when you sit with your breath, it proves to yourself you're not your thoughts, okay? Because today I was seeing a thought come up. Actually, this is exactly what happened. A truck that was really, really loud. I had my door open with the screen open, and it was super quiet for like 10 minutes as I was meditating. And then a truck came by, and it was so loud, and it was just sitting there like right outside of my house. They were doing something across the street, and I could feel the thought coming in of like, oh, this is annoying, but I just kept coming back to my breath. And that proved to me right there that I am not my thoughts. And the only time we feel stressed and irritated and annoyed and all of these negative emotions and positive emotions is because of thoughts. So I just chose not to identify and become that thought and just see it as a cloud going past me. And then I didn't get irritated. I kind of just, I was like, wow, like I just felt that, like, damn, I could just let that thought go by and not like, oh yeah, this is irritating. Like, this is so noisy, you know? And this helps with cravings as well, because a lot of the times the cravings are just repeated thoughts that we've been identifying with, like, oh, I want some chips. And then we identify with that and go get some chips. But when you meditate, you know, you can prove to yourself that, you know, that's not really my thought, and I don't have to go act on that. You know, I can give it a response. I can either watch it and let it go by, or I could give it a response of, you know, something that's more positive, and, you know, this future self, this future identity that I'm creating, because you're creating an identity, a new identity. If you want to lose fat, okay, you're not just, how do I lose fat? It's, how do I create a lifestyle built upon habits and the mindset and the thought processes that a lean person does, so I can become lean, right? You don't start when, you know, it all starts within the inside, the internal, the mental, okay? That's what is an expression of the external, what you do on the outside, your actions, your thoughts. Your mind controls your body, okay? But not to throw you off, just try to set 5 minutes on your timer on your phone. You could do this any time of the day. I like to do it after I stretch in the morning, and just sit there and just listen to the birds or whatever. It could be your air conditioner, and focus on your breath. And you can do like a body scan as well while you're doing this, and you can focus your energy on feeling your left hand, the back of your left hand. And then you can feel like your palm, and you're not touching, like you're just sitting there. And then you can like feel your elbow, and then you can feel your right foot, okay? And this brings you into the present moment and out of these thoughts, okay? And this calms your nervous system, all right? It brings you into a rest and digest state. A lot of us are, when we're thinking so much, we're in this fight or flight state. And when we're in our fight or flight state, our body's digestive organs literally shut off, because our body thinks we've got to run. Our nervous system is very ancient. So the only things we were panicking about back in the day as humans was like running away from an animal or not having food or something. So we want to prioritize being in a rest and digest state, breathing, just like peaceful acts, like just quieting your mind. And, well, not quieting your mind really, you can't quiet it, but you can not act on these thoughts, okay? And just sit there and just watch them, and come back to your breath and come back to your body, right? This is going to help a lot, okay? You're not going to understand until you just try it. It's going to make your mind so much more peaceful and more in control around food and things that you think are annoying you and irritating you. So I credit a lot of my peace to just meditating, because I used to meditate a lot and then I just got busy into work and kind of fell off, and I could feel the difference in my stress levels. And today has been an excellent clarity day. It's been very just flowy. I'm not all up in my thoughts. So that's everything. This is the 12-step checklist to lose belly fat fast. Okay, take a screenshot of all this. We'll recap real quick. Eat 60 to 70% water-based living foods. The rest can be some quinoa or some steamed sweet potato, but even steamed sweet potato is like 60-70% water itself. Like one sweet potato has like 60-70% water. But make more than half of your diet water rich, okay? Always pair the dry foods, the cooked foods, with those non-sweet fruits or the fresh veggies. I did forget to say, you don't want to pair any sweet fruit with anything but sweet fruit, okay? No sweet fruit with fats like nuts and seeds and avocado. No sweet fruit with cooked foods. Just sweet fruits with sweet fruits. This is why it's best to have it before anything. Get all your sweet fruits in before you have anything else, okay? And that's just going to optimize your digestion. Your body's not meant to have anything with sweet fruit, okay? Sweet fruit needs to be digested by itself, or it's going to cause fermentation within your gut and bloating. And make sure you're eating ripe fruit. Make sure you're eating ripe fruit, or else it's going to make you bloated and not like fruit. Make sure you're eating the best quality fruit ever. You deserve the best quality fruit ever. Okay, follow the example day of eating fruit breakfast. Your biggest meal when your digestion is at your peak strongest, middle of the day, and have a light dinner. Make your own sauces and dressings, link in the description. Stock your kitchen with the right foods. Replace every bad habit with a good habit. Make a public commitment to yourself or someone. Get those 5,000 to 10,000 steps in a day. Work yourself up to the 10,000, even if you got to start at 2,000 steps a day. Whatever is doable for you. Plan tomorrow tonight in your journal every evening. And then under that, find one proud moment of the day. Literally could just be like walking. And then try to meditate for 5 minutes. Even if you lay down and just sit on your carpet and just listen, okay? And then I didn't put this in there, but clean up your social media as well. If you're following all these like food mukbang and burgers and pizza, like that's going to be in your thoughts throughout the day and throughout the week. And you're going to think it's going to disguise as cravings. You're going to think, oh, I need to have a craving. Clean up your social media. What you're visually allowing yourself to see and auditorily, if that's a word, hear, the music, the conversations you're having, like you need to clean all of that up. The stuff that you're visually seeing. So follow people that are eating big fruits, juicy fruits, exotic fruits, big salads, creamy salads, steamed roots and stuff like that. Follow people that inspire you and support your journey. And listen to audiobooks and podcasts, all right? So once you check all these 12 boxes consistently, your belly fat will flatten, no doubt. There's no doubt about it, because all of this is going to regulate your nervous system to be in a rest and digest state and cleanse those years, if not decades, of undigested waste sitting in your digestive tract, in your colon, showing up as belly fat and allowing you to eliminate 3 times a day or however many times you eat, all right? I probably have like 3, 4, 5 bowel movements a day because I'm eating that much. All right, so that is everything. These are the foundation. I can go a little deeper, okay, but these are the foundation, okay? I'm not trying to overwhelm you. These are the foundation to losing belly fat. Congratulations on making it through this whole training. It really shows that you're serious about losing belly fat. And because of that, I want to offer you a free gift. And that gift is a one-on-one belly fat breakthrough call directly with me. And on this call, we'll look at exactly where you're at in your lifestyle and in your diet to make some of these implementations within the training stick for your lifestyle in a way that fits your specific situation. So we'll look at some of the foods that you're eating and how you can replace them with alternatives that taste the same, if not better, that are really going to help you burn belly fat efficiently. All right, so the link to book that call is in the description. Okay, this is gonna be a 15 to 20 minute call, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Happy healing, family. Cheers.